Hey, hi, hello, how are ya? I'm Angel. Thanks for stopping by. I'm on day 9 of my do-it-yourself roof project, and I thought I would pause before I get all dirty this morning and run over what tips, what I've learned, what I can think of so far. Since I just went and got more supplies, we will start with, you're going to need more supplies than you calculate. The rule of thumb is 30%, and that has turned out to be more or less true. 20 to 30% more rolls, even though I rounded up. I've had to go back twice for more cap sheets and base sheets. So that's rule number 1. It's going to cost you more time and money than you think, and helping hands don't hurt, usually. Would have gone a little faster with help some of the time, sometime maybe not. The wind definitely was a factor. As you can see, kind of, maybe you can tell, I have not quite finished all my cap sheets because, as I was just mentioning, I ran out of cap sheets, so I had to go, or my parapet sheets rather, had to go get more cap sheet. What I'm using here is called self-adhesive modified bitumen, so there's a base layer and a cap layer. Some people do 3 layers. I'm just doing 2 layers over a tapered insulation system, which that was the other thing I learned is I did not fully understand the tapered system well. I did. It was pretty simple, but when putting it on my imperfect, not so flat anymore roof, because it's had years of ponding, turned into a bit of a challenge. And then I was dealing with screw lengths, and that's another tip. Number 2, I will say, is estimate up on your screw lengths, because better to have them too long than not long enough, and they're a pain to get. And then you have to buy them by the 1,000 from the roofing supply. And tip number 3 is I use some decking screws. They've already started pulling up in some spots, creating some extra trouble. So I do not recommend that. I do recommend using the big, heavy-duty, rounded cap roofing screws, or low-rise foam, which is what I was going to go with initially, and I kind of wish I had gone with, because I think that in the long run that would have been a lot better, although perhaps pricier, perhaps not, because I ended up buying a lot of extra screws. Tip number 3 is try to find a good weather window. That seems like a no-brainer, but I mention it anyway because certainly windy days, leaves falling, cold weather, all of that slowed me down considerably. Thankfully, I did not get any significant moisture. I just had a tiny amount one morning, which was enough to help me wipe down the remaining exposed base sheet. And I'm about to find out whether or not the heat gun will help this adhesive still stick now that it's dropped below 30 last night or this morning. So this was the first night that it did that. So I suppose in my recap final video I will cover that. I did finally get some white granules, so I'll be covering the little, you see these little black strips that are meant to go under the other strip, but the parapet layer comes down and over that layer. So I have these black strips to cover with granules. I got those. What else can I think of? Yeah, don't panic. That's always the good rule of thumb. Do the best you can. Keep moving forward. Get more supplies than you think you need. Get a hand if you can, because that's handy. Find a good weather window if you can. I've got extra plastic cement and roofing goop of various sorts to go along with my any edges that won't seal down with the self-adhesive and the heat gun. Then I'm gonna put some other adhesive on and make sure everything is glued down real well. And then I've got metal termination bars that go on these edges. They're gonna get screwed down, hopefully, fingers crossed, with some of those screws that I already bought. I may find out they don't work so well into the stucco, but I will get to that later today. I think that's all I can think of. There's probably more, and again, I'll be doing a recap after I'm done with these cap sheets. Let me know if you have any questions or comments, and As always, you can find other ways of supporting me and connecting with me in the description. And I wish you lightheartedness, love, peaceful conflict resolution, amazing adventures, successful do-it-yourself endeavors. Ciao for now.